Morning. Welcome back to Dave's Corner. We are in the laboratory again today. This time we'll be in the laboratory for the duration of this video. I want to talk to you about a very cool item that I have called the Bug Assault Shredder. This is a fly swatter on steroids powered by CO2. Projectiles are salt canisters that comes with them. Comes also with the CO2 when you purchase it. So out of the box, it's ready to go. Give you a little bit of enjoyment swatting flies with, in essence, what amounts to table salt. The gun retails on Amazon for about $99.95, and what I'm telling you, it's as much fun as you can have with your pants on for $99.95 that you'll find out there. It works much like a double action, a single action pistol, like a revolver, standard revolver. You can cock it, fire it that way, or you can simply just pull the trigger. Mine happens to be equipped with a laser sighting device. It's actually pretty accurate for what it is. I have killed houseflies with this thing at 5 to 6 feet. I've killed carpenter bees. I've killed wasps. Yellow jackets are my favorite target, and it basically does what it advertises. It shreds things. So if you're looking for a neat thing to use for swatting flies at your next picnic or outdoor event, this might fit the bill. Now, a problem that people have been having with it, and some of the reasons why it gets low ratings, is inside the pistol grip of this is where you'll find the CO2 opening and where the canister goes in. And I did and committed the ultimate sin last season when I put it away. I left that CO2 canister inside of the gun. And what happened is this rim on the CO2 canister where, by the way, you want to deposit a couple of drops of oil when you insert it into the gun. It caused me some grief because it crushed the valve O-ring that's inside here. And of course, this year when I went to load it up with CO2, put the CO2 in, tightened up the canister, and all the CO2 immediately leaked out. So what we're going to be doing today is replacing that O-ring or that seal. Now, Bug Assault will tell you that if the seal fails, you have to return it to the factory. What I'm telling you is if you have any type of skill with hand tools, and you have the proper hand tools, and I'll show you what they are, you can replace that seal yourself. You can buy these seals for about $5 online. I'll give you the vendor who sells them. I ordered 3 of them, so I have spares because undoubtedly I'm going to forget again. And they were to me in, I don't know, a week I had them. So we're going to get started with this, and I'm going to show you how to replace this seal. It's actually fairly easy. Once you get the hang of working with hand tools, you can do it in about 10 minutes. All right, we'll get started. All right, so here we got a pretty good shot of the bench. We have the tools assembled that we're going to need to disassemble. First thing you're going to need is going to be a flathead screwdriver. I happen to be a fan of these Real Avid tools. That's a pretty neat feature. It's got a button push light so that you can light up your work. The kit that I'm using, that I took that from, is actually the Smart Torque and Drive Master set. And inside this set, these tools are not cheap, but I'll tell you what, the quality is second to none. Inside this set, you've got a driver, you've got a torque driver for setting up scopes, mounts, things of that nature, things that you want to put on that you don't want to tighten over 20 inch-pounds, and just about every bit you can name along with that screwdriver that I just showed you, and complete instructions in the box. Real fan of these. Also, we're using a brass punch out of the AccuPunch Master set. I use these things more times than I can shake a stick at. They're just great tools for the price point. So, first step, we're going to pull this screw that holds the frame and the barrel together. That's just a standard slotted screw. Not real tight when it comes out. I'm going to take that and put that in my magnetic tray over here so I don't lose it. At that point, the barrel and the frame will just come apart. Make sure you have no CO2 in there. There's no salt cylinder in there. And now you're ready to put it in the device and attack this little bad boy right here, which is what holds the seal in. All right, we're going to get right to it. All right, so now we have the frame of the gun set up in the vise. It is a steel vise. I left my pads at another location, my soft pads. So I'm using this piece of microfiber heavy cloth here just to hold it in the vise and keep it steady, just to keep it from marring the finish. So what we're going to do, start out with a brass punch, the brass punch that I showed you, and a soft blow, dead blow hammer. And basically this ring, in this ring, there are a couple of cutouts where there's a special tool that they use for tightening it up. I do not have that special tool, but I still want to drive that to the side, and basically it unscrews just like any other nut or bolt. All right, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So you give it a couple of good whacks to get it moving. I know you can see it's moving already. I'm assuming when it gets to a certain point in looseness, I'll be able to take it out because it'll be finger tight. There we go. It's turning. It's turning by hand. That's the piece right there. That's the culprit. That's the one you want to get out. So once that's out, I'm going to take my handy dandy curved angled pick, and I'm going to reach in there and grab a hold of that old seal and just lift right up. Now there's a piercing cone in there. You don't want to damage that piercing cone. That's pretty sharp. And that's what actually pierces the CO2 canister. There's a metal ring in there. You want to leave that metal ring in. That's the base. And you can see how this is flattened out here on this edge or on this face. Those indentations right there are what cause the seal not to seal against the CO2. So we've unpackaged one of the new seals. As you can see, it kind of resembles a flying saucer. Hope I'm catching that. At any rate, it does not matter which way you put this in. There is no upside down, right side up type of situation. But that new seal just lays right down in that channel. Take your little angle handy dandy pick, push it down a little bit, get it seated in there properly. And I like to use a product, an anti-seize grease from Breakthrough. This was actually developed to be used on choke tubes on shotguns, but I figure somewhere down the road I'm going to forget, and I'm going to leave the CO2 canister in there again. So when I want to remove this piece, I'm going to want it to be easy to remove. So I'm going to put just a little bit of this anti-seize compound on these threads so that the next time I go to loosen this up, it's going to pop right out. And all it needs is a very fine coat. I'm going to set that back in there. Now, what I will warn you and caution you about at this stage is that this is all pot metal, okay? Very soft metal. This is not steel. So when you set these threads, you need to make absolutely certain that you do not cross thread. And there we go. Sometimes it helps a little bit to go backwards. You'll feel a little pop when the threads join, and then go forwards and drive it home. Now, I don't think I'm going to tighten this down as much as it was from the factory in case I ever want to remove it again, but I am going to get it down until it's snug. I can't see a reason why that would back out of there. We're just going to work that around. It may go a little bit by hand now, and it has. We're going to get that nice and tight down there and snugged up. And there you can see it's turning by hand. So now we got a snug. All right. And again, with the soft blow hammer and a brass punch, I'm just going to tighten that bad boy up so it's just snug against that seal. And I think that might be enough. All right, so we're back to the bench view. Now we're going to put this back together in the same order that it was taken apart. You're simply going to line up the hole. You're going to get your screw. If I can find my screw. Where did I put my screw? Oh, right there. Okay. Don't lose your screw. I have a little magnetic tray there that I use for tiny metal pieces, and I did not use it. So we're going to drive that screw down. Again, be careful not to cross thread. It is soft pot metal and plastic. I'm going to tighten that down until it's just snug. There we go. Now we're going to give it the ultimate test. We're going to drop the CO2 in. And there should be very little to no leakage whatsoever when you tighten this up. And there you have it. That's it. And it has sealed. Let's give it the test. And we're off and running. All right, so there you have it. The step-by-step process in replacing the seal on the Bug Assault shredder. So much fun. And it clears your table of flies with the quickness. We're in business. And just so you know, there was no salt coming out of there. That's an empty cylinder. So just one thing to bear in mind. If you make any modifications to this gun, it does void the manufacturer's factory warranty. So that's something to keep in mind. But what I'll tell you is, like I said, second year with this tool, I guess you would call it a tool. That's what it is for me. And I have had no issues with it outside of the seal. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it helps you out. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on Facebook. Apparently, they've sold millions of these things. And a lot of people got to be having that same problem because God knows I'm not the smartest guy in the world. But I did manage to leave the CO2 in there when I was done playing with it last year. So if you like this video, give me a like, join my channel. You're going to be seeing more stuff in the future, okay? Just like this. Have a great day. Love you, America. Always have, and I always will.